Why not a real weapon?
I want a real weapon. I got knives. I have all close contact.
How come you never got a gun?
Oh, my wife. So I can.
Oh, one of them.
Yep.
I'll
get one. I'm working on her. She gets it. Yeah, she knows.
What you got to do is a false flag in the house. Hire some friends to break in.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. That's a terrible idea.
A false flag. You're like the Dick Cheney of households.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, I want the gun badly, but I feel like with an AK-47, and maybe, people can write, like, only bad things have happened with people, sure, there's responsible gun owners, but you look at Dylan Roof and you look at, Columbine, you look at all these, people getting shot up everywhere, and Sandy Hook. Like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want my kids. I was walking along.
Well, you have a safe. You put your guns in a safe.
Why do you need an AK-47?
You don't. You don't need an AK-47.
I'm saying have all the handguns.
But the thing is, like, who should be able to decide who gets what? That's where it gets weird.
Yeah. And what about silencers, too?
Well, here's the thing. In Europe, silencers are thought of as a polite thing because we're over in America worried about shooting people. They're worrying about noise. So, like, if you have what they call a suppressor,
Yeah.
Like, if you're hunting, you would hunt with a suppressor on because you don't want to blow your fucking ears out, man.
I'll put the links out to these two pieces that I did, Daily Show spots. I'll do the one, if you go to my thing, the Twitter, I'll put it out and I'll send them to you. That when I drove the tank and fired all those guns, and then I did a silencer piece as well. And the guy was saying he wanted to protect kids' ears with the silencers. And that's what Donald Trump Jr. is saying. Kids. And
well,
I'm worried.
The reality is, though, and this is true, I know a lot of friends that are hunters that shot guns as kids, and they're fucked up now. Their ears are a mess.
Shouldn't they wear the...
Yeah, they should. But they didn't when they were younger because they didn't know any better. See, 20 years ago, people didn't know that you were going to do permanent damage to your ear. You never heard about it. Like, these people just shot guns.
But I think also the unfortunate reality now is that you could have somebody walking around undetected, shooting people in a college, in a community college.
Yeah.
I was on KCRW and walking around the Santa Monica campus, and I really did think, I'm like, okay, who's the shooter?
Right.
And that shouldn't be a thought. That
no, it shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, it's a mental health issue. Because, like, the only person that's capable of doing that is a person who's sick.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that doesn't come up when you're talking about mass shootings is whenever you hear about it in the news, nobody makes the correlation, the inescapable correlation between psychoactive drugs and mass shootings. Because there's a lot of fucking mass shooters, like almost all of them, that are either on pharmaceutical drugs like SSRIs, dissociative drugs, or they're getting off of them, antipsychotic drugs.
So what can be done? Is there there is no common ground? You start having people we live in this country where you should be able to do whatever you want and have whatever you want, but then who gets to decide who gets
good question.
What guns?
Well, Texas is sort of taking the idea that just everybody has a gun. Will Arms Society is a polite society. What am I, Ron White all of a sudden?
Yeah, and then teachers should have guns in the classroom.
And bulletproof helmets, full vests.
Jesus.
AK-47s right there, right there. Put down the chalk. I don't know, man. It sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks that you have to think about this.
There's no easy solution.
Yeah. It just... Every time one of those things happens, everybody buckles down and wants to take away guns and try to figure out legislation. And I just feel like the root of the problem is not the tools that people are using. It's the fact that someone's willing to use those tools. The fact that someone is willing to do that. The fact that those guns are more accessible is a genuine issue.
But I think we can all agree that no one came for the guns. Obama, everybody's like, Obama's coming for the guns.
Well, do you know why?
Because
the NRA. Because the NRA is too strong. The lobby's too strong. They've spent a shitload of money and continue to spend a shitload of money to make sure they protect the Second Amendment rights.
Yeah, but so you're saying if not for the NRA, that
100%.
They would have taken all the guns.
They would have definitely done something similar to what Australia did. Australia essentially made gun ownership very, very, very difficult. They took away guns. They enacted very strict laws, and they had like one mass shooting a long time ago.
They had a big mass shooting a long time ago. That's the thing that they don't have is like these big mass shootings.
Yeah.
You know, when you see...
But Australia has the same amount of people as California. and it's the size of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just saw a thing. There was some map comparisons that blow your mind. It's like it's the exact same size.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And people are spread,
way spread out, and it's the same amount of people as Los Angeles, and it's in this giant ass fucking country. So when you think about being able to take people's guns in Australia, it's different. The culture's different. The idea of independence is different over there. We have a different attitude over here.
Yeah, I just don't want to. When you have little kids, again, it's just everything changes. We're just like, I don't ever want to worry about them growing up in a society where a teacher does have to think about wearing a fucking helmet.
Of course. I mean, nobody wants to think that. I don't know what the solution is, but the solution, look, getting the guns away from the people. There's more guns than there are human beings in America, and they're not going to stop making guns.
No, it's a good business.
Yeah, I don't think the guns are the problem. I really don't. I mean, I support gun ownership. I really do. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is, look, we saw in France, in Nice, that some crazy fucking take a car and kill 100 people by plowing over people.
Yeah, and just start stabbing people, too. Get out of the car and just fucking start stabbing folks.
There's ways that people lose their fucking minds and do horrible things to people, and the ways are not the things you have to take away. You have to figure out a way. And I don't
take away all hammers. No,
yeah, right?
Yeah,
I don't know what the solution is, but I don't think anybody does.
No, obviously not. All those guns away. I think what you're getting at with the mental health stuff is I'm not opposed to there being a screening process and seeing if you have a history of violence.
Of course, yeah.
And if you show up on a terrorist watch list, and that's where I think the NRA goes overboard. It's like, if you're on a fucking terrorist watch list, who doesn't agree with that?
Well, the only problem with that is who gets to decide who's on that terrorist watch list, because there was people that were from the Green Party that were put on terrorist watch lists after 9/11 because they were anti-war protesters, and they were put on no-fly lists. There was a lot of weird shit that happened where people were put on lists because they pissed off the wrong people. And, in 2001, it was way easier to do something like that than it is to do it today.
But then you go to buy a gun, and then they say, I'm sorry, you can't purchase this weapon because you're on this list. And then you can
go to a gun show. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
You go to a gun show, and you can buy a gun far easier.
In Kansas City.
They're trying to tighten that down, though.
Kansas, you can go, and people correct me if I'm wrong. It did a show called This Place Sucks. What am I? And so you go to Kansas, and then you can get a gun with just an ID, Kansas ID. And you can get it in maybe like 5 minutes, zero train. It's nothing. Just you get it right away.
You don't have to have a background check?
Nothing.
Is that true?
Yes.
Was that true like when you did in 2014?
When I did this piece, yeah. But you can look at, can we check that?
Yeah, gun laws,
Kansas
access.
gun law, no background check. No background check. I'm pretty certain. So...
But wouldn't people, you have to live in Kansas City?
Listen to what this guy does with his grandma. He walks into this place, and he goes... the guy says, I can't buy the gun, but she can. Like that, and he buys these 4 guns or something, and he kills a bunch of people. So...
Federal law requires federally licensed firearms dealers, but not private sellers, to initiate a background check on the purchaser prior to sale of a firearm. As a result, concealed weapons license holders in Kansas are exempt from the federal background check requirement.
Yeah. It's crazy. No training, no background check.
But hold on a second. Concealed weapons license holders. Like, you have to have a concealed weapons license, which is difficult to acquire.
Let me see.
It's not easy to get a concealed weapons license unless they have a different law there. Background checks in Kansas.
That's concealed, but I think you can.
But concealed weapons is like the hardest thing to get is a concealed carry. Federal law provides states with the options of serving a state. Kansas has no law requiring firearms dealers to initiate background checks prior to transferring a firearm. As a result, in Kansas, firearms dealers must initiate the background check required by federal law by contacting the FBI directly. Kansas is not a point of contact state. Huh.
Nice.
So they have to contact the FBI. Federal law does not require dealers to conduct a background check if a firearm purchaser presents a state permit to purchase or possess firearms that meet certain conditions. So it seems like there's definitely some wiggle room.
Yeah, for sure. And then, that's what I was talking about, these gun shows where you can just go gobble up a bunch of firearms and AK, and then you can bring them into, that's what they just transport them across state lines. And
it's one of those things like many human issues where there's not a whole lot of, like, clear paths. It's like there's so many guns, you're never going to take them all away from people. And should you take them all away from them? Like, if a guy like you has a gun, I don't feel like you're a danger or a threat unless you get in one of your goddamn tirades.
Maybe I'm not the best example.
You might shoot a hack.
Yeah, exactly. But fucking stealing what? He's got a gun. So,
did you hear that bit? Like, not a bit, the video. Carlos Mencia was on Joey Diaz's show saying he thought about bringing a gun around and going to the Comedy Store and shooting people, and he was carrying a gun in his car. Like,
no way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, maybe you shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah. Jesus. That's where I start thinking about Ojai, which brings me back, and then I start thinking about, I look at Redfin, or look at Trulia. I would go to Ojai.
Oh, living out there, you
living
mean?
Living at Ojai. Just
Ojai's
sort of
weird.
Checking out.
I was in Ojai recently. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody talks about how great it is. I think the resort is great.
Oh, yeah.
We did an Airbnb out there in Ojai. I was like, I'll have to come back.
Yeah. What about...
nice restaurants.
What about when you get out to, like...
Montecito?
Oh, that's fucking just...
Beautiful.
That's like 1%, or that's like $12 million house territory. That's where that Saudi Arabian sheik has
beautiful
view. No, rich people found the good spots.
That's a good spot.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
I like that Santa Barbara. I like that Santa Ynez.
Yeah.
I like to go up the coast. If everybody looks at this, you want to go look at Cambria.
Where's that?
It's in the middle of California. It's just a coastal town. There's a place called Avila Beach. It's all that gets into like San Luis Obispo County. Right in the middle. People have it. It's a little bit too far to drive. It'll take you like 3.5 hours out of L.A. Little town. Walk to the coffee place with the dogs.
My buddy John Hackelman lives in San Luis Obispo. He's Chuck Liddell's old karate trainer.
I went to Counts Poly with Chuck Liddell.
Did you really?
I didn't know him or anything. I just knew it's like, that fucking guy.
What is this?
Cambria.
That's Cambria?
Cambria.
That's pretty.
Yeah, just
is that off the 101?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty. It looks quiet. But San Luis Obispo is fucking great. There's no one there. It's just a college, and it's real quiet.
There's Morro Bay is also another. They got that big rock, and then you can just go fish, and you can do a bunch of shit like that. So that's, again, I am so high strung, and I do feel like I'm prone to I can't be walking around telling dads at my school to fuck off.
Do you do that?
I told one guy to go fuck. I go, you're a real fucking asshole. You know that?
What happened?
He was just he's a fucking dick to my son.
The dad was?
The dad was. He was a basketball coach. And I saw him and I go, hey, you're a real asshole. You know that?
Whoa.
And, because no dads talk to each other like that. And, I call this guy an asshole. And I felt bad. Again, I feel fucking bad. I don't want to do it, but I did it. And he's a dick. And everybody knows he's a fucking dick.
And, well, is he a coach?
He was a coach
at a school?
Years. Yeah.
Is he still there, any? Or is he done?
I think he's done. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that can't. I mean, the stress of being a comic, right, is one kind of stress. Imagine the stress of dealing with hormonally active 17-year-olds every fucking year. New ones coming in, just chaos.
These are much younger. Yeah,
okay.
This is
14?
No, not even that. This is like being an asshole to an 11-year-old.
Oh, well, he's a piece of shit then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fucking stress in raising people and teaching kids and dealing with the problems that kids present. Yeah. A lot of people that just... Here's another thing that's going on today. People think they can have a kid and then have careers too, but everyone's has a career. The mom has a career, the dad has a career, everybody has a career. And when are you watching the kid? Who's paying attention to the kid? I went to a party, and I've talked about this in the podcast before. This one little kid was just running around hitting everybody and doing... The parents were inside drinking. They were in the party drinking. And the kid's out there with the other kids. And then finally the guy comes out and apologizes. I'm sorry, he's a good kid. I'm like, he's not a good kid. I'm like, he's hit 3 kids.
Yeah.
I told him what the kid did. He goes, he never did that. I go, I saw him do that.
Just watched your son be an asshole.
And the guy's like, I said I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my God, I want to kill you.
Yep.
Like, do you understand? I want to grab your neck and choke the life out of you.
Yeah.
I'm containing myself, you fucking cunt.
Yeah, so I get up in those.
But I keep it cool. I keep it cool, Al Madrigal.
I know. How do you do it?
I don't know. Because I practice murder on a daily basis.
Oh, my God.
I just murder a punching bag or I run up hills. I get it out of my system.
Bert just told me this story about you exercising such calm, you and Tate, and that guy with his shirt off that was trying to get into your hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
And I would have fucking... I don't know what I would have done. I'm not gonna. That's the other thing. It's like I would just
Well,
probably.
that guy
call
wound up
security.
being